Hello, everybody. Welcome back to How Come. This week's episode is so good and so late, but it's mostly because I couldn't decide whether to do this one about ass eating or one that we already recorded on Twilight with my fellow Twihard, Gabby Bryan, in celebration of the entire Twilight saga being on Netflix. And all of them being the top 5 movies because everyone is the same amount of depressed. Woo! Couldn't decide, but you guys voted on the Instagram poll and you said ass eating first, bitch. And I was like, okay. So get ready for an amazing ass eating episode and tutorial with New York based stand-up comedian and my friend, Christiana Jackson. You might have seen her on Cash Cab. She's also got a new podcast called Stout Lusty Wench out. We have a cumazing congrats with our companion Molly. It is a story about OCD and orgasms and triumphantness, and you are going to love it. Trigger warning for the episode, there is some suicidal ideation, there is some intrusive thoughts, but yeah, it's a really good time. And if you want that Twilight episode ASAP, it is 2 hours long with Gabby Bryan, already on patreon.com/howcome. Thanks to Dipsea for supporting How Come. Dipsea is an audio app full of short, sexy stories. If you're looking to heat things up, there's a story waiting for you. Get an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome. Thanks to Calm, the #1 mental wellness app, for supporting How Come. Sleep more, stress less, live better with Calm. Go to calm.com/howcome. For a limited time, you can get 40% off your Calm Premium subscription with hundreds of hours of programming, unlimited access to Calm's entire library, and new content is added every week. Go to calm.com/howcome.
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
Molly, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm really happy to be here. This is so crazy. I'm starstruck.
Oh my God, thanks. You want to see Grace? Speaking of starstruck.
Oh, I'd love to.
She's licking herself right now.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Okay, cool. We're really excited to hear about your story. Tell us everything.
Okay. Well, hi, my name's Molly.
Hi, Molly.
I use she, they pronouns.
Mhm.
And I identify as bisexual these days. Sometimes it changes, but these days
Cool.
I'm bisexual. And
Congrats.
the reason I'm here to chat is because I have OCD, and that's a little fun thing I experience. I've had OCD ever since I was like 4 years old, and my mom's a psychologist, so it's always just been like a thing we talk about a lot.
Oh,
Which
that's
is good.
lucky.
It's not like a taboo subject.
Yeah.
But the reason it has to do with how come is because for a long time, my OCD affected, or even still, the way I experience sex and sexuality.
Sure.
From like a classic stereotypes on TV, like I am like a big germaphobe, and that's part of the reason
Okay.
why it's affected me a lot.
My brain went to counting first.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah?
gotta
Okay.
have 5 orgasms, can't leave.
Oh yeah, exactly. If only. But the other thing that a lot of people with OCD experience that isn't really talked about is intrusive thoughts that are related to sex. So yeah, the way I describe intrusive thoughts to people is like when you're driving and your brain's like, hey, like what if you just swerved the car right now?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, but maybe. Yeah.
Exactly. And then intrusive thoughts and OCD are a lot like that, just like all the time. And it's just like things you don't want. So for a long time, I was experiencing sexual intrusive thoughts about people I don't want to think about sexually.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is actually like a super common thing. And I was like, what is this thing I'm experiencing?
Wow. Wait, that might alleviate a lot of people, like to know that happens to other people, because I mean, I don't have OCD, but that has happened to me, and I've immediately judged myself like, am I like fucked up?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, it's just your brain. Like, how does your mom describe that?
Well, my mom's a child psychologist, and she never really dealt with this kind of thing. But the therapists I've worked with, the first few were like, oh, like that's something I've never really heard of, but it turns out it's a super common thing. With like therapists I've worked with as an adult, it's
it was like maybe you're just like an inexperienced
yeah,
therapist.
exactly.
But that's awesome that you've found people that
yeah
can get you on the right track and give you the proper information.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, for a long time I like wasn't having sexual experiences like with myself or with other people just because like sex was scary because of the scary thoughts that I was having. And yeah, then I like really I pushed myself with like exposing myself to things, and here we are. I'm
oh my god,
a little more comfy.
Wait, was that like through therapy mostly?
Yeah, like, and also I started working in a sex shop, and that was kind of like big exposure, just because I really like finding jobs to like shock my mother. Like I just applied to work in a fencery. Like I love shocking my mother.
Amazing.
So that's why I went for it. But turns out it was like super good exposure, because exposure is like the best way to get over OCD things.
Yeah. Especially I feel like with the germaphobe stuff too, is like you realize it's kind of like a shop is a really clean environment.
Absolutely. And like hearing like how to sanitize things was super helpful for me. So I know like, oh, like when I have this experience, this is all I have to do, rather than like wipe down everything.
And can I ask how old you are?
21. But I think I was like 18 when I was like starting to get over this kind of thing.
That's awesome. And so had you been in therapy your whole life for OCD?
I like always knew the word OCD, but I didn't get like an official diagnosis from someone other than my mom until I was like 12. And then like from there I was in therapy. Still am, not a graduate. And
no,
that's chill.
Like, I don't know if you ever do graduate from therapy. Like, you can take courses your whole life. Sometimes you need an elective every now and then.
Exactly.
When was the first time you spoke about it impacting you sexually in therapy?
I like started to like really think about it when I was around like 16 or 17. But I like it was such a weird thing for me. I didn't realize it was OCD. I thought it was just like, I'm a fucked up person. So it took a little while for me to bring it up with therapists and like be able to vocalize it without being like ashamed.
Right. That's the thing with therapy is you want to be able to tell them everything, but you also don't want them to get to a place where they're like, I have to report this person. And I think it does take a long time to like find the person that you can feel comfortable opening up with. Even if you do think you're fucked up, like, and then they can help you with that.
Yeah. Like they say in therapy, like, we won't disclose anything unless we believe like you were a child will be harmed. And then that to me was like, what if I do hurt someone? But like, obviously it's not me that wants to hurt someone. It's like my disorder.
Yeah. Intrusive thoughts. Yeah. Cool. And were you feeling like a sexual person ever without those thoughts? Like, did you ever like get like horny for somebody you were attracted to?
Yeah. Like I was dating people in high school. But I think like a lot of my friends were having their first sexual experiences in high school, and it like took me a little longer because I was just too afraid to touch people. But yeah, I was like pretty typically sexual for a teenage girl.
Had you ever explored yourself before, or that was like off limits?
Yeah, like I don't know. I was the kind of kid that liked feeling pleasure.
Pervert.
So yeah, and I was pretty young. But then there was kind of like a big gap for me. Like I explored myself pretty young, and then like once my OCD got bad, I like I couldn't put my hands on my lap because like I was worried that I'd infect them. So for a very long time there were no sexual experiences, or at least if there were sexual experiences, I was like wiping down everything.
Right. Which is fine. Yeah. We love a wipe down after a session sometimes. Yeah. Like if that's what you need, if that's something that makes you comfortable, like make yourself fucking comfortable.
Yeah.
What were like the steps that your therapist took with you or that you took to like kind of get better and feel more comfortable?
The exposure working in the sex shop was like
Right.
the big thing for
Of
me.
course. Yeah.
Things like picking up my underwear off the floor. I like took like a lot of steps on like we call it like a fear ladder. To be able to like touch things. But in terms of the intrusive thoughts, I guess in therapy they do it's called like imaginal exposure, which like that word sounds I don't know. I don't
Not
like it.
Real. It sounds like a fake word, but it's imaginal.
It's imaginal. And it's just basically like you sit there with yourself and you imagine all the things that are like fucking with your brain. And until it makes you really uncomfortable, and then you just kind of like sit there with the discomfort. So since like a lot of my things were like made up by my brain, I needed to like sit with what my brain was saying.
Do you mind telling us any of those thoughts? You don't have to.
Yeah, like I guess mostly they were like just sexual thoughts about like loved ones that it's weird to have sexual thoughts about.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? I'm so happy you said this.
Yeah, it's a thing. Like I'm sure we always say that like everybody gets intrusive thoughts, but like people with OCD, we just can't like move past it. Like everyone's getting these thoughts, but like I get really stuck on these
You would
thoughts.
fix on it for like hours or days?
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to normalize it for you.
It is really good because I'm sure, I mean.
I was talking about it with my friend the other day, like the exact same thing. We were like, does anyone else? And she was like, I'm so glad you said that you've had them. And I was like, I'm so glad you said it. Like,
I'm so glad to hear that you're talking about that.
I'm so happy you're here. Yeah, it's definitely not talked about. And for that reason, of course, you would feel even more like embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because it's like, am I keeping this down because I really want to? And it's like, no, you're keeping it down because you don't want to. And you also know it's
exactly
something that you don't want. And for that reason, it makes you feel even weirder.
Yeah. There's a word. I'm also like a psych student, like every other mentally ill college student. And there's a word we use. It's ego dystonic, which means it like goes against what like your belief system. So if something was ego systonic, then it would go with your belief system. So OCD thoughts tend to be ego dystonic. I don't know. I find that word helps.
And did you ever have those thoughts surrounding masturbation?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Okay.
I think I always see memes that are like me while I'm masturbating, like thinking about dead relatives, like where is this coming from? And like for me, I was getting these upsetting thoughts, and I'd be like, "Whoa, like that's really fucked up." Whereas other people are like, "Oh, like that's annoying. Like I'll just think of something else."
Yeah, and it's like a moment of like that's weird versus like, oh fuck, this is me.
Exactly.
But not.
And then also like OCD can like go into your memories and be like, hey, like you touched someone inappropriately, even if I like wasn't near that person. So that got really annoying too, because I thought I had physically done things and I had like replay situations in my head, and yeah, not fun.
Not fun,
No.
but really exciting that like to just hear you speaking it, not in fully the past tense, but like this is like a hump that you've gotten over.
Yeah, it is. And now I'm just your average sex shop worker, and I sell all my friends vibrators.
Amazing.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so then let's talk about your congrats.
My congrats, yeah.
When was your first orgasm? How did it happen?
Great question. Super young. I have no memory.
Okay, amazing.
I was just like humping pillows and stuff. And yeah. And I also, oh my God, this is so OCD. I've never thought about it before. In my head, I'd be like, I can't do this every night because someday it'll mean that I can't get pregnant. And now that I'm thinking about that, that's like so OCD, not just like a little kid thought. Huh, that's funny.
It's also a like wee bit patriarchal.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, like the way that like I used to be like, oh, I'd really like to get my boobs done maybe, but like then you'd have to like figure out like how you're going to feed your baby, and it's like, are you having a baby that I don't know about?
Are you currently pregnant?
Right. Yeah. And also just because like my friends weren't talking about masturbation at all, so like I didn't know what I was doing was like totally chill. But then, as I said, like there was a long period.
You had your gap.
There's my gap.
Your dark period. Your dark age.
My dark age. Yeah. I think like sex toys made me a little more comfortable, like cleanliness.
Of course. You don't have to touch yourself.
Because you don't have to touch yourself. Exactly. And like I knew the protocols for like washing silicone toys. So thank God for the Satisfier.
Thank God for the Satisfier. Thank God for the sex toy shop.
Yeah.
Were they open this year? Probably not, right?
No, and it's student run. Like it's like through my university, which is like...
That's cool.
Right? Yeah. We love Canada.
Yeah. We love Canada.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Right.
Thinking about some stuff that we've learned recently.
Oh, yes.
But,
Not for everything.
Not for everything. But that's really great. And it's interesting to me that like you had that experience and then you probably went into lockdown, right? And now you can act on that experience and what you've learned.
Yeah. And then with like other people, I was also like just not having sexual experiences in high school. And then I think like once I got to university, now like I can like say to my friends like, hey, like I just had sex with this person. Do I have to wash this? And like now that sex is like more talked about, which reassurance seeking is not a good way to get over your OCD, but it could be helpful.
Yeah, no, it has to be like, that's the thing. It's like you're asking other people, but you know best.
Yeah.
You know how to clean things.
Exactly.
You've done all the research.
I've done all the research.
Give yourself permission to know that you know.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
It's huge. When did you find us in the course of your journey?
So not last year. And when I was in second year, so 2 years ago. Whoa, the lights just went on for a second. There's a big storm.
Yeah, that was
outside.
you finding us.
Yeah,
that was
my light bulb.
Hello, welcome.
But every week at the sexual health center I worked at, there would be like an article of the week or a podcast episode of the week. So 2 years ago, you guys were the podcast episode of the week, specifically the episode about your tantric massage.
Oh,
and that was my introduction.
Very popular episode.
Yeah. And then like I recommend the podcast to all my friends.
Amazing. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Yeah. It's so funny that you like the Tantra episode too, because it's so hands-on.
Oh yes, definitely.
With a stranger.
Breaking taboos.
Yeah. I want to do another tantric episode soon. Like, because everybody always writes in, they're like, where do I get one? And I'm like, maybe we should just teach people how to like give them.
That's a fun idea for like a little workshop.
Just a little workshop. Yeah. Well, congratulations on all this so far.
Oh, thank you.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first orgasm after the dark period?
I don't. I really wish I did.
That's okay.
How cool would that be if I did?
That's okay.
I'm sure it was a really good one, though.
Do you have any sex goals?
Sex goals?
Life goals? Therapy goals?
Oh my gosh, great question. I'm currently figuring out if I'm lesbian or bisexual.
Cool.
I think I'd like to like have sex with at least one more man, just to like figure out.
Just check it out.
Just to make sure I'm into that. And if I'm not into that, then just stick with non-men.
Yeah. Okay, so we want to maybe figure out our sexuality a little deeper.
Yeah.
Any therapy goals?
Right now, most of my like mental health stuff is more depression than OCD. So
I'm right there with you.
Oh yeah, I love that for you. It would just be nice to have like some better coping skills, I think, for dealing with the sad times. Yeah.
Have you ever CBT'd or
I have
DBT'd?
CBT'd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Journaling.
Love it. I wish I could get into journaling a lot more.
I know we talk sexuality, but any sex goals, like orgasm with another person or...
I have.
Oh, great. Oh.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Hooray.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have anything in particular, but the world's open.
Yeah, the world is... That's awesome. And the partners that you've been with, have they all been like receptive to talking about OCD and like taking time with you? For the most
part, yeah. I mean,
Good.
like, obviously, like, one-time things that I don't like bring up, things like that. But I will be like, oh, like, I'm germophobic, like, don't touch this after and stuff. And people are usually chill about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice to find people who are like really willing to talk about that kind of thing, because everyone has weird things surrounding sex. Truly.
Molly, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us, and congratulations again. You're so awesome.
Yeah.
I have to ask you this question because we've just had a very sexual experience.
Right.
Did you finish?
I did. Yeah, I'm proud to say I did.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you so much. This was so awesome.
Of course.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Molly, thank you again for sharing your story. You're amazing. We're obsessed with you. I love all these conversations that like normalize not just sex, but like mental illness and mental health issues that people are going through, and can show us that like there really is a way to like make life better instead of just being like, oh, this is a thing that I have to deal with and like whatever. Like, you can improve, and I love that. So if you are feeling like you're in a dark place, or you want to improve your mental health, or you're going through some kind of mental illness, consider this ad as your mental health checkpoint. How are you feeling today? A little anxious? Haven't been sleeping well? Lacking focus? It's okay to need help sometimes, and Calm can provide the support. I am partnering with Calm, the #1 mental wellness app, to give you the tools that improve the way you feel. Clear your head with guided daily meditations, improve your focus with Calm's curated music tracks, and drift off to dreamland with Calm's imaginative sleep stories. Over 100 million people around the world use Calm to take care of their minds, to sleep more, stress less, and live better with Calm. And if you go to calm.com/howcome, you'll get a limited time offer of 40% off a Calm Premium subscription, which includes hundreds of hours of programming, and new content is added every week. I like Calm so much because it's an app in my phone and is just super accessible. I have had people recommend meditations to me for the longest time, and I don't know why, but I've always been like really combative against it. Like, I don't know, I just didn't want to be alone for that amount of time. But then when I think about how often I'm alone and my brain is just spinning and being negative, I'm like, maybe we could replace that for an hour a day with Calm. And I did, and I really liked it. And I think it will help you guys if you are one of those people that, like, I don't know, you fall into social media rabbit holes, or just like start spiraling about how much your life sucks versus what other people's. Like, okay, delete 1 hour of that and like get on your Calm app and listen to a meditation, or listen to like nice music before bed, or, you know, it's just like for a nice mental reset. So right now is the perfect time to give Calm a try. For listeners of the show, Calm is offering a special limited time promotion of 40% off a Calm Premium subscription at calm.com/howcome. That is 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library, and new content is added every week. Get started today at calm.com/howcome. That is calm.com/howcome. And you'll hear us talk about therapy in the second half of this section as well, and how important it is to take care of your brain. Also, though, this is something else you guys will love for your listening holes. Another amazing sexy escape, which everybody needs sometimes and can be very hard to come by right now. There's Dipsea. Let yourself get lost in a world where good things happen and where your pleasure is the only priority. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about it by now because I'm obsessed, but Dipsea is an audio app full of short, sexy stories designed to turn you on. Each Dipsea audio story features characters that feel like real people and immersive scenarios, so you feel like you're right there. They release new content every week, so there's always more to explore, never getting bored, no matter who you're into, what turns you on, what you want to explore. And if you want to wind down, Dipsea also has wellness sessions, sensual bedtime stories, and soundscapes to help you relax before you drift off. Little sexier. I love Dipsea. It's amazing, especially now that the world is back in full swing. Ben has been touring a lot, and I will be going away. And yeah, we've just been separate a lot, and I love to have my company, especially if we're on different time zones and he's sleeping. I need my Dipsea app. I need to hear some sexy stories of threesomes and sex parties and coworkers hooking up. Like, I'm not a visual person. I'm an audio guy, and I like to use my imagination to connect with myself. So if you are that type of person, and I feel like you are, come with me. Come to Dipsea. For listeners of the show, Dipsea is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome. That is 30 days of full access for free when you go to DIPSEA stories.com/howcome. You're going to love it. And you're going to love our guest. You guys, I'm so excited. Welcome my friend Christiana Jackson.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, bitch is 40 now.
Do you feel different?
I feel tired. Yeah. I feel like not like tired in the physical sense, but I just feel like, oh my God, so much has happened.
So much. Yeah.
That's the thing. I am a Cancer, so we tend to be sensitive and very emotional, but I don't cry a lot. But over the years, I allow myself to feel everything.
Good.
All the positive and the negative. And I just let myself cry. It's good.
It's cathartic, right?
Yeah, but it's tiring. That's why I don't like crying.
Exhausting. Yeah, true. It's like a catch-22 because it can feel so good, but then it's also like, okay, wait, I need to do a day of sleeping after crying.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I'm glad to be here. Alive.
Did you have any birthday sex?
No, actually, you know what? This was the first year in a few years.
Shocked for you. Shocked.
You know what? I do feel like it's progress, though, because when I look back, I'm like, okay, last year it was some dude that I can't stand who didn't eat my pussy, didn't make me come. 2 years in a row was a Brazilian dude. Oh, he couldn't last very long.
Okay.
I get that a lot. People are like, I can't. I'm like, yeah, well, I
because you're just that tight?
Well, yeah, I do Kegels to reggaeton music. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay.
I keep it tight.
Everybody's doing it right now. Kegels to Gasolina tonight.
Gasolina. That's
it's like the first.
Yeah, no, that was
like made me learn what the genre was. Well, yeah. Whenever people ask about my comedy, they're like, "Is it super sexual?" I'm like, not really. But when I think about your comedy, it's like fucking sex on a stick. Like I learn something new every time. I feel like you're one of the first women I heard talk about eating ass on stage.
Yeah, probably. As much as people talk about it, not that many people really do it. I love it.
Yeah, no, but like you talk about it with a passion.
Yeah, it's great. It's a good time. But you can't be eating everybody's ass. First, you gotta trust their hygiene. And then also, it's a vibe thing. I like to say if the legs go up, I keep going down. So it's like if they feel like they trust me and I feel like I trust their hygiene, fuck, it's right there. We might as well keep going.
They'll lift their legs like dogs, like having a good time that they're like, ah.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, well, the bridge is up. Here we go. But yeah, you can't be eating everyone's ass. That's the one thing.
Okay. Do you remember the first time you ate an ass?
Okay, so about 5 years ago, almost exactly, I used to fuck around with a neighbor of mine.
Happy birthday to ass eating too.
Yeah. Word. I used to hook up. So I live in Harlem. I used to hook up with a dude from across the street. Who's very much a Harlem dude, and part of the reason why I'm the fuckboy that I am today. And I was a vibe thing. I felt like, all right.
Did he suggest
cool
it verbally or just with his body? Okay.
No. It's a very much a vibe thing. I was like, all right, I feel like if I keep going, and then he wants me to keep going. And yeah. And then he told me, he was like, oh, I'm not into it. I just wanted to see if you would do it. And I was like, well, I did it 4 times. So I'm pretty sure he was just bullshitting. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you were into it, bro. How do you do that 4 times? Yeah. Also, the only other woman to eat his ass was also a Cancer. But we're pleasers. We like
interesting. Yeah, and you guys like love food.
Yeah.
You love dining.
Yes. Remy, last time I ate his ass, though, it did taste like sugar.
Interesting. Okay, so I've never eaten an ass.
Do you want to eat ass? It's not for everybody.
If there was like a lot of preparation beforehand and like he really, really wanted it, like obviously, like I think I would be amenable to trying it, you know, like
Yeah.
Samantha Jones trisexual here, try anything once. Why not? At least for the podcast, you know, like I feel like there's so many people who like talk about it and like you think there's people like not doing it. So now I don't feel as alone, but like I really do feel like it's something that like I should do.
There's no necessity to eat ass. I mean, that's the thing. I feel like we're in this weird place sexually where everyone's just trying to be cool. But it's like at the end of the day, there's only a few gross motherfuckers out there who are really about it. And that's fine. That's how it should be. Not everyone should be doing everything.
See,
no.
Ben loves doing it. Like Ben's eaten my ass like a million billion times to the point that I'm like, okay, I actually don't enjoy this, but like I love that you're having a good time. So like, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it is different for a woman. We don't have anything. Well, once you get in, that's different. Once you, my ass leads to my heart. I can't let men back there because it will jumpstart feelings for me.
Wait, so you don't let people eat your ass often?
No, I do. Well, it doesn't. Not that many men want. Although I did a lot of Spanish dudes, so they're more about it, and that's my vibe. Because I'm too much for like my people, like Black Americans are like, you're too open. I'm like, all right, okay, all right, that's fine. I'll just keep fucking with Spanish dudes.
I'm sure like not the ones on Field or like who are going to like sex parties and stuff.
I mean, Black Americans, that's what I've learned, are definitely still American.
So they're like super puritanical.
Yeah, there's still this vibe of like, wait, what? You know, okay, fine. I'm too okay. You can't. We're just sticking to the regular. Oh, fine.
Missionary again?
Yeah, actually, I come easily in missionary, so I don't mind missionary. But missionary and like awesome. No oral. I don't know. It's like it's a vibe thing. Let's have some fun. But what I was saying is I don't let men in my ass that much.
Oh,
that will jumpstart some feelings if it's done properly. Oh, I will fall in love. It's terrible.
Okay. Yeah, that's like where your oxytocin lives.
Word.
It like sets you off, but you'll let them lick your ass.
Yeah. It's like, all right, fine. But I don't like, I'm the same thing. It doesn't really do that much for me, but I'm like, you like it. Cool.
It's like very, like it used to be like very taboo, you know?
Yes.
So like, I think like around like 2009, there was like a huge jump in ass eating, like where it became like a little less taboo. For what reason? I'm not sure.
Word. And not everyone should be doing it. It's fine. That's the thing. It's like, I don't know. Not everyone should be out there doing all the stuff. Like what you like. And it's okay if you don't like certain things. And then it's okay if you do like certain things. You don't have to like.
And it's cool to bucket list stuff too. Like if you want to. And it's cool to like test stuff out if you want to. But like, yeah, definitely nobody needs to be like pressuring themselves into doing something that they like.
Nah, for what? Enjoy your life.
But I think when you said like I like when they put their legs back, like that's like a very submissive pose.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I feel like it's more than like eating their ass in that moment. It's like the power and like kind of like that role play, right? Like that
word.
That's what people might be interested in too. Like
I think so. I say if you eat a man's ass, you own his soul, because all the asses I've eaten, they have not forgotten this bitch. I'll tell you that much. But I also just think it's like I feel like I've understood, and like as I'm getting older, what like the place of sex in my life is also like a de-stressing and like not healing, and like I'm gonna get out some crystals and shit.
It's yoga for you.
But I just feel like, I feel like I understand just it's for pleasure. Like pleasure is important. And I like, and especially these days, motherfuckers are so stressed out. So it's like, oh man, yeah, if I can help you. But it's also like, you're not gonna forget about me eating your ass, because I do it passionately. I'm very passionate. I'm not just doing it. You're into a voracious it. So eater. They're like it's good to be a little sensual with it.
Totally. Okay, wait. So the first time that you ate ass 4 times in a row.
Oh, no. It was 4 separate occasions.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no, not 4 times in a row. One time took him out enough.
It was sufficient. Okay, so the first time you ate his ass, did he come from that alone? Like, did you know what you were doing? Was he directing you? Like, paint a scene for me.
Oh, no, it was very quiet.
Okay.
It's all nonverbal communication. Like, even for me feeling like, okay, if I keep going, he's cool with it, was just complete intuition. It was completely nonverbal. But he didn't come from it. I don't think I've ever had because I always think of it as like an appetizer. So I've never done it till a guy comes.
An amuse-bouche.
Yes. I was just watching Top Chef before this, so that's like perfect. I'm like, yeah, spot on, exactly. It's just part of oral. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I think about it.
But so when you're eating ass, you're not trying to like do anything to the prostate because like what could they be getting out of it that like I don't know.
It stimulates something. Mm-hmm. I guess. Well, how deep in is the prostate's deep in there? Like you gotta put.
I feel like it's like a finger hook length. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going in, but I am. My tongue is in there, but it's very sensual. But then also there's that pit stop between the balls and what is it? Perineum between the balls and then the asshole.
Perineum. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Perineum. There we go. So yeah, if you stimulate that's the thing. If you go underneath the balls and you start stimulating there, that's where you can really tell if they're into it. Then you're you kind of have the clear to keep going down. But it's just a very I don't know. I guess I think it's very intense for them, but it's very sensual and like
vulnerable.
I think also no one's out there. No one's really back there. So I feel like they also don't realize how much pleasure can be derived from it.
Yeah. Except from like pooping. Like everybody like loves pooping, but then they don't think about like how great other stuff in your butt is.
Word. It's very true.
I don't know if you love pooping, but what a dream.
I do. I gotta staying regular is like a job for I pride myself on how regular I stay.
It's insane. Like there's not many things that I'm proud of, but it's like this podcast and like my 2 shits in the morning.
Yeah, it's like my body's working. We're on track. The world is chaos, but I'm maintaining a regular bowel system. Perfect. Also, as somebody who does like having anal, though, that's also another thing where I'm like, so I started having anal with my ex. And I mean, it was never planned. So I was very proud of how clean my system already was all the time. It was like, yeah, we can fucking go, Poppy. I ate my veggies.
Wait, so this one guy you said tasted like sugar the last time you ate his ass?
Two guys have. So now really? I think it's a like the first guy was the first ass that I ate. The 4th time I ate his ass when it tasted, I was like, yo, you realize like your ass tastes like sugar. It tastes sweet. I thought, how much bodega candy are you consuming? But then the last ass that I ate, I was very alarmed by it. But the last ass that I ate also tasted like sugar, and that guy was in Mexico. And I had eaten his ass before, and it didn't taste like that. So now I'm just wondering what makes the. I mean, it truly
is it a dietary thing? Is it like genetics? Like you get your mom's flavor of ass.
It can't be. I don't think it's genetics because the guy across the street was Black American, and then this guy was Mexican. Like that. Like I ate his ass in Mexican. Okay. So that's why I'm like, I don't know what the link is. And dietary wise, I don't know what the link is either. But I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
I'm looking, and someone said that they used to put sugary lollies in their butt and let them melt, but their partner was diabetic, so they couldn't continue. So I don't think that's necessarily
what.
I don't think that sounds very clean either.
Safe.
No, that's disgusting. Just clean it. You don't have to taste like sugar. I wasn't like eating ass thinking like, well, I would love a little flavor to this. Just was a coincidence.
Yeah. Okay, I found it. Perhaps the most obvious place to start is with your diet. Just like cum, the flavor of your chocolate starfish can be changed and altered based on your diet. Eating sweeter fruits and vegetables can go a long way, creating a tastier experience for your partner. Avoiding red meats, coffee, deep fried food, and dark green vegetables can also keep your rear end tasting sweet. And then it says, try to stick to clean proteins like turkey, chicken, and fish, and avoid anything that gives you gas or diarrhea like cabbage and onions. That makes sense. I love it.
It does make sense. Also, I guess it starts, now that I think about it, I'm like, I'm starting to like mentally think about people that eat ass and don't. But then I do feel like they fuck with some of that food anyway. Anyway, that's good to know.
It's good to know.
But what can make it like sugary sweet?
I have no idea. Sour belts. Sun-kissed.
A word. Maybe I'll ask the last guy. I'll be like, hey, do you know what you remember 2 months ago when I ate your ass out?
Ask him.
Do you remember what you were eating? Do you have any memory of like what you consumed?
Oh, yeah. No, as far as cleaning, like I feel like some people, like it's not like full penetration. I mean, you might be prepping for that too, but like you don't have to like douche or anything. You just have to like probably shower.
Yeah. Just
right?
be fresh.
Be fresh. Like also if you're eating out a vulva owner, like don't drag anything from the back to the front because that's really not nice for us.
Don't do that. Yes. Although some guys do go in like their tongues with like a paintbrush and they're just going back and forth between like north to south, and you're like, I mean, I hope this works out for me. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but like, can we maybe have a little bit more targeted eating?
Mm-hmm.
I just think when someone acts like they're just like going in like
yeah
like you know how they used to paint in like old movies like the 40s where they're like real exaggerated, or like how you'd paint in a high school play, like I'm painting right now. That's what they do with their tongue. It's like
painting the roses red, like
yeah, it's just such an exaggerated movement. You're like, I mean, I'm glad that you enjoy this buffet, but at the same time, this just feels unproductive. Like, let's target and focus in on one particular area and not just shellacking the whole thing with your tongue at the same time.
I feel like somebody like making out with your butthole would be nice too. Like anybody making out with any other part of your body just seems like really fun.
Well, that's what I like to do. That's the thing. Like I'm very sensual with my oral. I'm not like a porn. I have a very sensitive throat, first of all, so I can't deep throat. And then I've just found a loophole and just being very passionate and sensual in it. Yeah, slow and steady. I'm the tortoise of giving head.
This makes sense. I feel like it's like we had Ian Kerner on, Dr. Ian Kerner, who wrote a book all about like eating pussy called She Comes First, because he prematurely ejaculated and he was like, okay, I need a loophole, you know, like another thing that's going to make me like good at sex. Like if you don't like deep throating, go to the back.
Sorry, I was drinking some water. I almost spit it all over my word. Or just find your way.
Find your
yeah, you know, like not everybody needs to be a deep throat kind of a girl or guy. No. Like, nah, everyone has different gag reflexes. But if you find your own way,
you can do lots of licking on shaft and head and stuff.
Exactly.
Like, I hardly deep throat. I feel like I'm mostly like cranking with my hands and kiss and tip.
Yeah. Just be into it. I think, you know what? If you're into it, whatever you're doing works. I'm like, come on, man. I need my throat for work. I'm a comic. I can't have you fucking up my fucking glands.
Do you remember the first time you ever had your ass ate?
I don't think I do. It's been a lot. There are less men's asses that I've eaten than men who've eaten my ass.
Okay. Was
it Poppy? I remember the first guy who stuck his finger in my ass, and that was not called for at all.
It's not acceptable. It's like,
yeah.
But I'm happy to know that you come a lot, whether there is a guy involved or not.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, because people can be so exhausting that it's like always nice to be able to go home to number one.
Oh, 100%. Or just in the moment. This is what I started doing when I was like 24. I don't know where I got the balls to do this. But I remember I was hooking up with a guy within my first year or so in New York. But I remember he didn't make me come. So then I was just like, hey, so I didn't come, so I'm gonna just use my vibrator and then just like, you know, we'll like fuck her, just like, you know, like kiss me and shit, and then I'll get it done. And he was down for it.
My favorite
and then I started doing that all the time. But then part of me is like, where at 24 did you have the balls to be like, hey man, I still need to finish, so come along for the ride?
Huge kudos to you.
Thank you.
I feel like a lot of people don't figure. I mean, maybe they do more now, but like,
yeah, it's a different time.
It's a different time now.
Yeah, I got married later that year, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I was married from 24 to 27.
Where were you? Like, were you doing comedy at all? Like,
that's a perfect question. It's like you're psychic. I was actually in Dublin, Ireland. Okay. I married a West African dude in Dublin, Ireland, which is random. Yeah. We knew each other for 6 months, and I was like, I hate dating and I want to be a wife. And then also I was like, well, I'm young, so if it doesn't work out, I'm still young. Which was smart.
And what about it didn't work out? Like,
oh, he was a cheater. He cheats on his wife now.
Okay. Fuck that guy.
I mean, some people are just cheaters. That's just who they are.
Yeah.
And they maybe you shouldn't marry someone like that.
Yeah.
Or because it's not an open thing.
Right. Exactly. It's not like ethical.
I mean, I will say this. They have a good partnership. But I think that he still doesn't eat pussy. Can you imagine I married someone who didn't eat pussy?
No.
I mean, right there, you're on the chopping block. At any point, you might be taken
I would
out.
say that would be above cheating for you.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I can't believe I committed myself to a man who didn't eat pussy. And then that's the thing. We're still friends. So I remember one day I told him, I was like, you know what, Charles, I'm so glad we got divorced because there was such a whole nother world of pleasure that I would have never experienced if I didn't break up with you. So I'm so glad that we got divorced. But it was a long distance marriage. Like I used to live in Dublin part-time. So I'd go over there for like a month, stay with him, come back. I worked in real estate at the time. So if I had like a good week, close a bunch of deals, then I would pop over to Ireland, chill there for a while, come back, work again. It was a very long process to get him to America. And so by the time that he came here, as he would say, the love had gone. That's what he said. He's like, oh, by the time I got here, the love had gone. I'm like, no, your dick had gone out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But no, I'm glad that I learned a lot about relationships and marriage when I was young. So I'm very glad that I was married. There were a lot of lessons I needed to learn. But that's also how I know, like, I'm ready to be I'm not a girlfriend. I'm a wife. That's the thing.
Right.
I'm either a whore or a wife. That's it.
When you say like that you're a fuckboy, like I kind of like get like because like I'm like she doesn't mean it in the way that like I'm taking it where it's like fucking with people's emotions, you know, like or cheating on people.
No. I don't want to get murdered, so I don't play with a man's emotions. Safety's number one. I am not it's not nice, but also, I mean, I'm not trying to get murdered.
True.
So no, I don't fuck
fair.
emotions. I'm just a fuckboy in the sense that I'm very charming and like to have a lot of sex, but also I'm not gonna. But I don't fuck with people's emotions like that.
You're a sexually positive, active human.
I'm just horny. That's
I feel like horny and good at sex. Yeah.
I feel like sex positive is so political. I'm like, nah, I'm just a filthy bitch. That's what I am. Just fucking till I find the love of my life. That's my mode.
Yeah. I like horny too. But also sex positive, I feel like I've come around on, like I used to think it was like way too like hippy dippy for me, but it's just like, no, like you're positive about sex, you know, like if people are like, I'm fucking, you're like, good for you.
No, that's why I feel like I'm not sex positive. Because when other people, especially it was interesting in quarantine, like the people that would slide in my DMs to tell me they had sex with someone, and I'm just like, we're in the middle of fucking chaos. I really can't. I don't care about your sex life. This is not the time to be like, I got a story for you. I'm like, oh, great. Well, you know, I'm surrounded by the sound of ambulances and
death. Yeah,
you know, like I great. I'm glad you got some dick, but not now. Like, can we table this for never?
But now that the world is opening up, people are allowed to start. I still
don't care that people have. I mean, I want everyone to have it. I don't want to hear about it.
You posted something that I was like, holy shit. It was like after a show recently, and you were like, yeah, like I had a show, and then this girl messaged me after, and she was like, you were right. I fucked him. And you were like, I'm out here doing the Lord's work. And I was like,
yeah,
go.
That was amazing. Also, but then I was like, what the fuck? Where the fuck is my dick? That's what I'm like. But that's also different. I'm talking about people I hadn't talked to in like months just randomly
will just reach out to you and tell you about sex
all the time.
Because I was going to say because of your podcast, but no, it just came out like because of your comedy.
I think that for a lot of specifically white ladies that I'm like, they're like, you know, most of their friends are like married or in like relationships, so they don't really have that many other female friends. I feel like for a lot of them, I'm like their dirty little whore friends. They could be like, oh, well, I don't have anyone else, but I could tell Christiana. And I'm just like, bitch, I'm doing my own shit. I don't great. Unless I like, there's certain comics where I'd be like, you seem tense, you should get some dick or have sex or whatever. That's different because then I'm happy for them. But someone I don't fucking know who the hell. We haven't talked. We're not cool. We're not friends. I don't care.
Also, it's not like you inspired that situation. Like with the audience member, like you incepted it. And like if people like send me their stories, like from How Come, I'm like, oh, amazing. Like it like has to do with us or whatever. But if people were just like sending me like their amazing sex experiences out of nowhere, and I'd be like, I mean, Ben and I haven't fucked this week. Like, what do you want me to say?
Word. I'm just like, okay.
We have, though, you guys, this week. We reunited. It was so fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad you had sex. That's all I want. I want steady dick. That's the thing. Like, I'm only a whore because I'm horny. And actually, let me tell you something. This summer, this is the problem with what's been going on. Now men just want nudes. They don't want to actually have sex. They've been jerking themselves off for too long. So it's like if you offer them pussy, they're like, just send me a picture of it. You're like, well, I'm trying to actually have sex.
Like, I can do this by myself.
At least a few times a week. That's the real problem with, Yep. I was having more fun last year. Last year was great. This year, I'm like, oh, everyone's just taking care of themselves, and they're going back to work. They don't have time. Blah, blah, blah.
Pandemic made people too self-sufficient, but also like rude about asking for nudes.
Yes, exactly.
Like I feel like you should really only ask for nudes if you have the intention of like fucking, meeting up, or you already have fucked.
Exactly. I love nudes. I love taking nudes. Last year was a great time of inspiration for me. I bought colored lights to set certain vibes. Amazing. So my nudes are very vibe based. They're not just like, here's a fucking nipple. It's like
there are.
That's why I feel like it's erotic art. But that's the other thing where I'm like, most of you aren't even deserving of the curation of this fucking pussy photo. And then to be so demanding about it, that's the thing where I'm like, oh, they're too used to having everything on demand. And I'll have to say, like, listen, I'm not a porno chick, so you want more and more and more,
and those people would pay. Like,
exactly.
I saw a really cool thing on TikTok about taking nudes that apparently you can watermark your nudes. So if they ever get leaked, like, you know who did it.
Oh, I don't have time for that. My output is too high to be able to like be like, wait a minute. What was that watermark?
How many nudes are you sending?
Oh, I don't know. It's been going on for years. I started sending nudes back when there was no camera phone. I used to take photos before I did comedy, just like for myself, just like my own creative expression. So I used to take photos with my camera, then put them on my laptop and email them to people. So I don't know how many fucking nudes are out there. Who knows?
And you wouldn't care if they ended up on the internet someday?
Well, actually, that's already happened. A guy...
Has it?
This guy, I didn't know he took... They weren't my nudes. I didn't know he took photos. So he took photos and he took a video.
Fuck.
So I found out... Because I don't watch porn, actually. Nothing wrong with it, but I get too in my head. Shoes in the bed, I can't.
Okay.
Who's doing the laundry? I just can't. It's too much. Okay. So I don't watch porn. But this guy who actually has the same birthday as me, who we had matched on Bumble, never met, but we followed each other on Instagram. One morning sent me a message and he was like, hey, Christiana. And I was like, oh, this fucking dude. But somebody told me to answer him politely. I don't know. It was an instinct thing. And I was like, hey, how are you? And he was like, I got bad news for you. And then he sent me screenshots of the nudes that somebody put up. on Pornhub of me.
What?
And then, but luckily he flagged them. How he realized it was me was he recognized my nose ring. And then also I always wear gold nail polish. So he like watched it, then kept going. He's like, is that chick? And he was like, no. And then he went back and he looked again and he saw my nail polish. He was like, that's and then he went to Instagram and he was like,
God,
that's her. And he flagged them.
Holy I mean, that's really nice of him.
Word. I mean, then eventually he was like, hey, I need help with money. I was like, God damn it. Nope, there's no good in this fucking world.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, so and they got taken down?
Yeah, they got taken down. I knew exactly who it was because I recognized the dick. So then it was a whole thing of like that, like talking to that guy, trying to get him to admit that he did it, and he kept bullshitting. That guy is a cop. So it was like a whole thing.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I fucked other cops. So I talked to them and be like, yo, what do you think I should do? But then I you know what? At the end of the day, I was just like, I don't have time for this. I was just like, I don't have time.
And that's why so many people get away with like this is an actual crime. Yeah. You know, like this is categorized as revenge porn, and this is somebody who's. I mean, we all know the cop reputation right now, but it's like that's a really fucking horrible thing to happen. I'm glad like you weren't scarred for life and that it got taken down and stuff.
Yeah,
but, like,
it was crazy.
It's happening more often, I feel, than we realize.
Yeah,
and like people need to start wearing more signature nail colors so that
just ladies, pick your color. That's how you'll find out.
Or people could stop doing crimes. That would be great.
Exactly. That's the thing. I was just like, this motherfucker. Like, and it's funny because I remember he was like, we should shoot like a whole porno. And I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, that guy was like definitely too open sexually in a way that I was like, bro, that guy is a classic. I'll say this. He's a classic Gemini because he is a cop, but then he's a cop who would go on Instagram Live jerking off at his job.
What the fuck?
What kind of Gemini shit is this? And then he'd be like,
what kind of like world is this where like that's happening? Like, what the fuck?
Word. This was pre-pandemic too. Like before pandemic, I had never used Instagram Live except when this dude would be like, I'm like, he's gonna get busted. That's why I would go. I'm like, at some point, he's gonna get busted at work, and this is gonna be hilarious. And it would always be me and like one other chick in there. I wanted to be like, how do you know this guy? Like, how do you know this crazy motherfucker? But I would never ask because I didn't want her to. He followed me in a bunch of like BBW women. Like in like misshapen lingerie. I'm gonna be like, this is so you follow like a bunch of like kind of porno ladies and then stand-up comic Christiana Jackson. Like it's a complete outlier.
Was his face ever in his videos or the ones that he put up of you?
No, it was just his dick, which I was like, I know that dick. That's your dick, bro. He tried to say that he didn't do it, and but I'm like, how did this happen? He's like, oh, I showed it to somebody at work, and I was like, bro, you know that you leaked this shit. Like, how the fuck would they even get access to it? Blah 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 blah. It was just a lot of bullshit. I wonder what
the like statute of limitations is on reporting that shit.
Word.
I know you don't have the bandwidth.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's respect your choice, but
I'm bad with paperwork.
If ever you wanted to, right? I know. No, I mean, I know you're not alone in the amount of people who stuff happens to them and they're just like, it's not worth the headache for me.
Word. Plus the fact that he was a cop, I just thought like, that could go either
Your life
way.
Could get destroyed. Yeah.
Word. It could go either way. If I go to a police station, they might, that whole like blue line is real. So that's why I'm like, if I go to a police station, first of all, I don't want to have to show screenshots of me sucking his dick.
No.
Unless they're hot. Then I'd be like, what's this one? That's the one thing the guy was like, he's like, yeah, this is fucked up. but that video though, god damn. And I was like, yeah,
God.
this is what's also funny. It only got a couple hundred views, like only like 100 some people had seen it before it got flagged. And I was like, this is why it's good to be a fucking whore and be out there, because within 100 some people, somebody was like, I know that bitch.
Yeah,
and
your sample size is big.
That's where I'm like, if people know you and know that you're a good person,
they'll come around for you someday.
Exactly.
So I know that you don't often watch porn because it's distracting. And I was wondering, because your first time coming story kind of involves porn?
Oh, very true. Very true. Well, that was when I was young and had less chores. Now when I see porn, I just see a bunch of chores.
Okay. So tell us about that first time coming then.
Okay, cool. So basically, I grew up. I started puberty in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So back then there was, there wasn't internet porn yet. So what I would do was I figured out how to bust into watching Playboy on TV, which was super boring. There wasn't sex.
What is Playboy TV? Like just people walking around in lingerie?
Yeah, it was like women like walking to like slow jazz or some bullshit, or like
hilarious
rock and roll or some shit. Just like I remember a lot of them with hoses, just like slowly hosing themselves off, and then she'd be naked, and then she's like washing a car. It was just very boring. I mean, I had a lot of patience because this was literally, I started watching when I was like around around 11. Just like begging, like I'm like, at some point there's something's gotta happen. Sex. I just want to see sex. I don't want to see women prancing around, especially like back then they were all the same. Yeah, I was just like, god damn it, at some point some dick's gonna pop up somewhere. I did see a scene of women scissoring, or whatever. With two women like having sex, and that still took like years to get to that. And then finally, one day, it was nighttime. It was only on at night. It was Playboy back then. So one night.
Late night, yeah.
Yeah, I had to literally go to my living room, turn the TV on basically mute, and then just sit close to it. But then also look to make sure nobody saw what the fuck I was doing. It was a very covert operation. And that's how at a young age, I was like, you're a dirty old man, man. You're like, I gotta try to see some sex at some point. But anyway, so then there was a woman, and she was in a bathtub, and she just had the water running over her crotch. And I was like, that'll work. I don't know what that is, but it'll work.
But it looks good, yeah.
She's having a good time. That's all right. And then the next day, I tried it, and then that's been the rest of my life now. That's been basically
amazing.
Me on my back. I mean, now I use, now I have real technology, but back then it was just not the best water pressure. Not even. It was a bathtub stream.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you know there's like a little thing that like people, you can I don't remember the name of it, but you can fasten it on to the like tub stream, and then it like makes it go straight and then locates like on your clit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've come a long way.
We really have.
We've come a very long way.
We've come so far.
I don't feel like people really appreciate like
I really do.
Back in my day,
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I feel so bad for like generations, even, 2-3 decades back, like let alone like the 1800s, people were like pushing out babies and never coming their whole lives.
Oh. Horrible. That was a good time to die early if you were never coming. But
totally.
Yeah, so I came
come back when we've gotten more advanced.
Word. Like bless your heart. But so yeah, I took a long time because we didn't have great water pressure, and then also I didn't know if that was. Plus, I had nothing to like reference, and because I was just on my back, so I had to try to think of things to even jerk off to. And if I were a guy, my parents would have known right away, because I would end up spending like 45 minutes to an hour in the bathroom, and then I would come out. I remember one time my stepdad was like, you always hobble out of here like you're an old woman. I'm like, I'm exhausted. You have no idea what I've been doing in there. I've been laying on my back. I wasn't in shape. Well, I guess I was kind of whatever, but like, say I've been laying on my back
Legs in the air is a hard pose for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to invent things to jerk off to.
Some advanced Pilates.
Worked. But yeah, they never caught. Well, I mean, I think eventually, but then there was an art, and then in high school there was like porn online. So then I started to kind of get into trouble because I started to, understand like internet searches. But well, there was no internet searching before. It was just me in the bathtub.
Yeah.
But I did get kind of old.
And then you had to change it up.
Yeah. Why? I just use my own imagination.
Mm-hmm. And then did you switch over to your hands at any point?
No, I've always had weak hands. Even as a child, when I would try to like do my doll's hair, my hands would hurt. I don't know why.
Short
I have
girls,
old lady
weak hands.
but
Yeah.
Really? Is that a thing?
That's what I think.
Wow.
We're little.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always had just not the best hands.
I can't even like chop vegetables. I have the weakest hands.
Okay, I feel better about that. Vegetables are a lot of work though.
They are.
As someone who has vegetables waiting for me to chop like right on my counter, I'm like, some work waiting for me.
My grandmother nanny, shout out to her, so short, weak hands.
Wow.
But I've been doing shows since I'm back, and people are like, I forgot how fucking short you are. Like online, you seem taller, and I'm like, I don't know how to convey that more.
Oh, I get that a lot on Tinder. People are like, "You're only 5'4". I'm like, "Yeah." They're full body pictures of me. And they're like, "Do you Photoshop?" I'm like, "I've literally never used Photoshop. I don't care enough to fucking look different for you motherfuckers on Tinder. Are you nuts?
Yeah.
You think I care that much that I'm gonna actually try to make myself look tall?"
It's so funny though too. I posted that picture with you, and I was like, "Whoa, I look really tall here," and it's because I forgot that you're fucking short too.
Yeah. 5'4", baby. Like that's it.
Big presence.
I think it's my build. I have a
tall
broad
shoulders.
Build.
Yeah.
But you don't have a short person personality.
Neither do you.
Thank you. Yeah. But no, I switched to a back massager. That was my mom's that I used to steal from her. And then she kept catching me and telling me not to take it. And now that I'm older, I'm like, maybe she was using it for the same thing I was.
And you guys were pretending that the other didn't know to maintain respect.
Word. But if I would have, it's like, bitch, why didn't you just buy me
one? Yeah, literally.
Most people are fucking in this town. I grew up with a bunch of hicks, so nobody was into me. I gotta have some kind of goddamn relief, lady. Anyway,
seriously, the best thing a parent can do for their kid, like if you don't want your kid to like go out and have bad sex, like teach them how to masturbate. Buy them a fucking toy.
Exactly. I was taking matters into my own hands, and I really think I should have been
very weak
applauded
hands.
for that. But then I bought an actual vibrator because there was a sex store in the next town over. So I went there with my friend, and it was like a rubber tongue. My friend named it the grooving tongue, and it like had a mouth, whatever. First time I used that shit, I used it until the batteries wore out, and when I stood up, I almost passed out. It was hours.
It's amazing.
Hours. I'm not kidding. I remember standing up and almost passed. I was like, God damn! Like it was a powerful.
She
time.
died doing what she loved.
Yeah. It's a good thing I didn't pass out and hit my head. They would come and see me.
Literally.
Like, what the hell is this scene?
All right. We made some notes of different positions that you can eat ass in. Obviously, doggy style. You can eat ass that way. Can you 69 eating ass? Does that make sense?
I think it depends on some height shit.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to.
I feel like you'd have to like crawl your legs around both of you like in a circle.
I feel like it would work better for two women than two men, or because you have to get. Well, I guess it depends on the dick size too.
Yeah.
If you can reach past the dick to the ass. Yeah. That's then maybe. But otherwise, like the dick and the balls would be like speed bumps.
Yeah, and they could just be like flapping in your face.
Yeah.
Ass or face sitting. Have you ever done that?
Oh, yeah, I'm a fan of that.
What?
Yeah. That's a good time.
Both ways? Have you eaten ass like that and had your ass eaten like that?
No. I feel like a man's tried to put his ass in my face with that. I'm like, you are still a man.
You are still too big.
Like, I'm not a petite woman, but like, you're still a whole ass man.
Yeah.
Putting your, like, that's too much.
There are other notes in here. I'm sure Rob will get to them in the post coitus. But have you ever had an ass in your face that you were just like, absolutely not?
Oh yeah, you just tell them like, what do you stop? You just push it away from you. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, okay. A lot of my sex is in Spanish, so it would be like, "Ay, coño, tranquilo. ¿Qué haces?" Like, what are you doing? Relax.
Whenever I think of ass eating, my first thought goes to that Sex and the City episode where the guy eats Miranda's ass after they're like running buddies, and she like really likes it, and then like the next time he like presents his to her, and she's like, absolutely not, or whatever. And I feel like,
oh, I remember that episode.
That was like so detrimental to like anybody who would want to eat a guy's ass, because it's like, oh, is that not done? Like, is it not reciprocal?
See, that's how reciprocity is everything, period. Mm-hmm. And I do feel like it's a double standard. Even like, there are women who want to get eaten out, but then they don't want to suck dick. And I'm like, it's just a matter of pleasure. Like, so it's kind of, I see it as that less than like, I mean, if the guy's an asshole, that's different. But like, there are women who are just like, oh, I don't want to do that. But it's like, if it were the other way around and a man's like, I don't want to eat your pussy, you'd be like, what the fuck? Same thing. Right. It's a matter of like,
and sometimes it's like a comfort thing, but also like, it's like, if it's every time you expect them to do something for you and you're completely unwilling to do anything, do any workarounds, it's like, that's so selfish.
Yeah. Just be cool. Just be cool and try to be reciprocal. And if you're comfortable, but I know women who are just like, no, I'm never. And it's like, yeah, but then you can't be upset if he's like, I'm never. Because then if anything, I call it sex karma. So like, I feel like I tend to, there was a point where I started to realize, I'm like, damn, I haven't really attracted that many men who aren't willing to like eat pussy in a while. And I was like, I think it's just sex karma, because I'm just having a
you're
vibe
not that
of being
way.
Open. Yeah. So I attract men who have an open vibe. So it's like, if you aren't open to doing certain things, you maybe attract the same. You might attract someone else who's like, oh, I don't do oral. It's like, all right, well, you get what you get what you put out. It's
totally
karmic.
Yeah. And I used to feel like I was very giving, but now that I'm thinking back on like how I used to approach sex, it was very like, I'm trying to get good at it versus trying to make the person feel good. And so like, I wouldn't necessarily, like, I remember even learning about oral, I'd be like, oh my God, it sounds like a lot of work. Like, so like, I don't even want anyone to do that to me, because I don't want to have to do that job.
Oh, word.
But it's like, okay, then go in with a better work ethic. Maybe you'll get better results.
Well, that's how I feel. I would say I'm sucking my dick, so when I meet my soulmate, I'm good at it. You got to get your reps in. You got to get your reps in.
Totally.
If you haven't been, that's one thing I will say.
Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours.
Exactly. This is the thing. As much as I hoe about, I don't have sex with anybody, actually.
Totally.
There's a lot of people that I do not have sex with and will not have sex with. I pour one out for all the men who talked their way out of pussy. Yeah, it's like fallen soldiers. But at the same time, because I get tense, and then I'm like, oh, you need someone to smooth you out a little bit. And then, but then also I'll realize like, oh, now I'm starting to get in my head like, am I unattractive? I'm like, oh, you don't want to.
We don't want to go to that.
You don't want to get into. Yeah, it's a wormhole.
Yeah, but I feel like now we have like the wherewithal to like just not keep doing it. Like, I feel like when I was having sex at like 16 and it wasn't feeling right, I'd be like, okay, we'll just like finish it out. And now I'd just be like, no. Like, it's not working right now. Like, we're not having fun right now. And like, I'm in my head and like, let's just take a break. Maybe we'll return. Maybe we won't. It's not a big deal.
Word.
Okay. You have a meeting, so we have to let you go. Can you come back if anybody has additional questions for you?
Fuck yeah, man.
Okay. Amazing.
Yeah. But also I still have a little bit of time, like 10 minutes.
Wait, so this is a funny fun fact. So we were thinking that maybe the reason ass eating got more popular is because it was in songs, recently. A lot of songs talking about eating ass. But did you know that Mozart wrote a song about eating ass?
Word?
He did. Robin, would you like to recite the lyrics of the song? Okay, the song is called Leck mich im Arsch. Yeah, Leck mich im Arsch.
Oh.
It was written in 1782, and the chorus line is "Lick me in the ass, quickly, quickly." But there is a longer verse that is so much better.
Those asses stank back then. God damn, they barely
Right?
bathed.
Like they carried bouquets to cover up people's stenches at weddings. Like,
yeah,
Mozart, you're asking for a lot and quickly.
Can I? You know what's funny though? One of the
Rude.
things that this is bringing it all full circle. One of the things that I used to think about when I jerked off in middle school was the movie Amadeus, because there was a scene in the beginning where he's like chasing this woman and he's sucking on her tits, and I was like, oh, that shit is hot, and we should not be watching this in middle school. They showed that to us in middle school. That movie was that. You know what? I knew as a middle school, I'm like, this motherfucker's a freak. And then here you go. He wrote a song about eating ass. Wow.
Cock me, Amadeus.
Shout out to Amadeus. Wow. Mozart.
I want to watch that. I've
Eating
never seen
ass.
that movie.
Oh, it's a wonderful movie. But I don't think they should have shown it to us in middle school.
As children?
In school. No.
In
Although
school.
it gave me some shit to jerk
Group
off to,
horniness
and
is like, it's a palpable thing. Like, you can watch it alone, but it's like weird when everyone's together.
yeah. And you're in school.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
The other day, I was at my sister's apartment and her boyfriend was there too. And she was changing and she was like, don't look. And I was like, me or him? And she was like, well, both of you. Like, you've seen me naked and he's seen me naked, but like together, it's weird. I was like,
yeah,
you're
that
right.
is weird. That's a porno scene right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that would have been fucking weird.
Yeah. Did you find the other line, Rob?
Yes. There is a line that is lick my ass nicely, lick it nice and clean, lick my ass. That's a greasy desire, nicely buttered, like the licking of roast meat.
Oh
and then something
my
else.
God.
Wow, Mozart. Also, lick it clean. That's too much. Come on.
Lick it now. Lick it clean.
Also, all the layers of pants to take off.
So many
That's not going to be
pantaloons.
quick. This is fascinating to me. And
Fascinating stuff. Yeah.
What sign was Mozart? Do you guys know?
Let's
You
see.
guys are into
It was an
signs.
Aquarius.
Oh, that
Aquarius,
makes-
just like Robin.
Oh, that makes sense. Let me tell you,
Ooh.
Aquarians are low-key freaks. And the sex is very physical. It's like a gym workout. Like, there's a lot of, I feel like every time I had sex with an Aquarian, it's like I should stretch beforehand because they're going to try, because they think outside of the box. So it's going to be a lot of like moving in positions, and it's almost like wrestling. My Cuban ex was an Aquarius.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like you need to do an episode of your podcast all about what type of lovers people are based on their horoscopes.
I could.
Please.
Christiana, can you tell everybody where they can find you and your podcast online?
Yeah. Well, for now, you can still find me on Tinder because no one's scooped this bitch up yet. And then
you guys.
Yeah. Someone give me a hot plate of food I didn't have to make myself. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Just be able to cook and give me some good dick and all that good stuff. Anyway, but my Instagram is Incomparable MSC. That's for me, and then for my podcast, it's Stout Lusty Wench, which is the name of my
Amazing.
podcast and clearly who I am.
Amazing. Christiana, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here. I have to ask you a question, which I have to ask everybody after a sexual experience, which this has been. Christiana Jackson, did you finish?
Yes, definitely.
Amazing. I'm so glad. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. This was so much fun.
Of course. Okay, love you guys. We'll see you next time on How Come. Bye.
Bye.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I I think that I've still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help, 'cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz